Map feeder, though. We'll put it up on the board, and we'll check what we've got here, as we've got 2 pre-banned maps. Mockit are going to be starting off on the defense in the orange, and then blue for Penta. Clubhouse and Oregon out of play, and we're going to play Border, actually. A pretty good map for both teams.
Yeah, Border is definitely going to be a comfortable spot. I mean, it's just one of those maps that is competitively viable and has been... Well, you know, it's funny, actually, when it started, people didn't like it, but it has been competitively viable forever, and people have really enjoyed it. It's one of the earlier DLC maps, but it's been there for so long that people kind of forgot about it as being a DLC map, as it was the second.
It's kind of base, Yacht was the first one.
Yeah, Yacht
and Black Ice,
and
then we got Border.
Yacht isn't even in the game anymore, so not really. I mean, you have it in the casual playlists, I think. So,
Goddess, if you're listening to me, I'll never come back.
Well, I mean, it's not that bad. I think the problem with Yacht is always been the color profile, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's just too bright. Is what I always found the problem was. Like I could never. Sometimes, like if you wear like the white camo on Yacht, you're basically invisible.
Yep.
I mean, there's no break in those color palettes.
Yep. All right. So with Border being decided as the map for this confrontation, we'll have to see what you guys think at home, though. In the meantime, as you know, both teams have their own advantages and disadvantages. Again, they're not far away from one another. They're literally sitting on top of one another in terms of scoreline. So, and points. And
hang on a second.
What?
So these is so Mockit, guys. So Mockit has won 2 matches this season. They have lost 4, and yes, their wins were their 2 more recent matches. So that's worth noting. Okay. Okay. All right. So we assume that makes more sense. That makes much more sense.
We got bamboozled.
Yeah. I was about to get into why that made no sense at all. Anyway,
this makes
Penta,
sense.
Yeah, Penta drew their last match against ENCE. Impressive. They won against Secret. They won against Chaos. They drew against G2. The teams that they've lost against are Listream and Empire. Those are both very formidable rosters.
Fairly aggressive teams as well.
On the other hand, Mockit, they have 2 wins against ENCE and Secret. Secret, right now...
I don't think we can consider beating Secret.
It doesn't... They haven't been playing well.
I know, it's weird to say. It's weird to say, and we don't feel comfortable saying it, but like...
It's true.
The numbers are here.
Yeah.
You can't really...
They're on the bottom. Like, that is the situation right now. So, Mockit beating Secret. They also beat out ENCE in their previous play day before that one. And then, apart from that, they've lost against Empire, Listream, Chaos, and G2. So yeah, that one.
And not only did they lose, oh boy, did they lose.
Yeah, it was a lot of those losses were pretty dominant.
Those losses, like 7-2 losing against G2, they lose 7-0 to Chaos. You know, it's just it wasn't a fun time for Mockit a lot of these play days, but they were able to put up a pretty good fight against Listream and Empire at 7-4 and 7-5 respectively. So still, there is a beating heart in the squad. And both teams here. Mockit, I don't believe they are boot camping yet. I'm not even sure if they're gonna boot camp in Sweden like they did prior to Rio, but it is something to keep in mind. Penta, however, are together, and you see Maverick and the Glass removed from play. What do you think about Maverick ban on Border?
I think it's definitely. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
It's a logical operator takeaway, right? Especially if you're looking to like destroy bandit batteries or mute jammers that are on walls, but you have so many other ways to do it other than that.
On Border, this is not one of Maverick's best maps.
Yeah.
He can be useful here, but I don't know. There's
better options, I guess.
Yeah, Ying would have been better.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, Sir Boss and Hungry play on Penta.
Yeah.
Hungry hasn't had the best of times.
Or a Monty. You know, they're.
There's so many other operators, basically, is what we're trying to say.
Maverick ban. Okay, so I hear you. If for those of you who are unfamiliar with Siege, I hear you. While you talk about Kickstarter, they banned Maverick in the last match, and yeah, you're absolutely right. That was Clubhouse. I mean, Clubhouse. You ban Maverick. That way, you can bandit trick certain walls.
Exactly.
But on Border, you're not going to be doing an exceptional amount of bandit tricking. You can, but almost all of those places where you're going to be bandit tricking, there's going to be soft destruction to counter you. And yeah, there are situations on Clubhouse where soft destruction from below can counter your bandit tricking. But it's rare for that to happen because those positions are usually still in control of the defense when you would be going for a thermite on walls in question on border. That is not the case. So, yeah, if you wanna bandit trick the armory wall, well, I got something to tell you. Yeah, you're going to have a hard time doing that. Why? Because all you need to do to deny that is open up the front door, use a Zofia or an Ash charge from below, and oh no one can bandit trick anymore. And it's not hard to get control of Workshop downstairs and do the same thing over by the B-bomb side. So.
All right, I'm going to take a few seconds actually to congratulate Laxing, Reciprocity's player. He won Esports December Play of the Month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so congratulations, Gabe. Completely deserved. If you guys didn't check it out, make sure you go to his social media and you can check it all out. Because
congratulations, Gabe.
Yeah, he's Reciprocity or they were #1 team. They're #2 team now.
Well, they've been having an amazing season.
Yeah, but they've had an amazing season. They won DreamHack Montreal. They played really well. They're going to Invitational. So there you go. You're going to see more of Gabe in just a few weeks. Damn.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe they did beat the Dark Zero in their most recent, pardon me, Dark Zero beat Reciprocity. So they came close. What I wanted to say was they beat EG. Yeah, it was in the previous play day. So Dark Zero managing to beat Reciprocity. Anyway, that's a lot of sidetracking, and what a kill from Cryan to start things off.
Cry me a river, man. What is that blast spotted from all the way downtown? And I wanted to talk about the AR-33 ACOG with angle grip, because it's now started to become my favorite somehow. But it's just the ability to snap aim and the extra rate of fire that you get. There's something about the way the recoil resets as well with ACOG. It's just really fun to run the AR-33, and I don't want to attribute this kill to it, but that was pretty darn good.
Well, I want to attribute that kill to Cryan and his excellent aim. And Cryan is, again, statistically the best player on Mockit. So really proving it there, giving his team an edge early on. You can see the rest of Mockit looking to try and take control. And that's unfortunate. That was one of the concussive ones too, which means that, you know, the concussions from that lifeline are one of the best counters for a clash, and now you just don't have that at your disposal. You have one still. Nope, he's used both of them. That's unfortunate.
Now the AMP gets used. Okay.
Yeah, but why? I think Corey got it backwards. Yeah, I think he's a little frustrated because I think he got the order at which he was using his lifeline backwards. So that sucks.
All right. Well, the Clash is still alive, and she's still gonna play in the Baxter boss, I believe, protecting the fountain alongside the Clash. So we'll slow down the Zofia for just a bit, but this will allow Fail to come in and thermite the wall into Bano, force Ravon away, but he actually gets the kill on Cryan. Surboss will also escape due to the smoke cover. The hallway is well cleared out. Reps is playing the Ying. We talked about Ying not being played at all today, even though she was never banned. We'll see if Mockit can really put her to use, as it's a 4-4 with 36 seconds on the clock. Not a lot of time to maneuver.
Rips, though, going to be a good tool once he's got a platform to use those Candelas, and he does after that thermite charge has detonated. Surboss playing close up with the Clash. Enemy's going to give him good information, and that's going to allow for Surboss to take the kill onto Vale. Mockit in a bad spot as they also lose KS. Ravon coming in from the side. Rips will get an entry, as will Corey, though, so it's nice and even at the 2-2. Clash is one of the remaining two defenders, and he doesn't really have a gun to fight back with, so not an ideal situation. And as Hungry goes down, it's a 1 versus 1, but there's no time! Enemy's gonna win it on time alone! The Sophia's still up, so he could have picked himself up, but the clock being so low, Penta will take it. What a great job to the Clash to hold out that round. That was a hilarious ending.
Step to the floor.
Yeah.
You know, okay, I wanna mention this for just a second. I don't know if you guys have checked out the Wind Delta that was released for all the operators, but
I didn't see the newest one.
Well, there was one that came out around a week ago, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, basically, the Wind Delta for Clash. Guess how low it was?
Very, very low.
Minus 10+%.
Wait, so she is a detriment to the team, quite literally?
You
lose more when you pick her.
They needed to add more space on that graph to fit the Clash. And this is why, people.
Well, I mean, yeah, this is...
If you're playing Clash to get frags and to run around the map and do whatever, you're playing her wrong. You need the team to support you. You need to be the one that just stands in front of everyone and stops them from moving around. The SBSMG buff that we're going to get later on, potentially, to allow her to fire at full auto, that's not really going to matter too much. It's going to be a niche thing. She's going to still be played the same way. Why? Because you need teammates to function around you. That's why in professional play, she can be very oppressive to the attack, whereas in your standard play, she can do almost nothing because there's no communication. And this is what you should be learning, the takeaway from literally watching the best players in the world run these operators.
Yes, indeed. So, good job there to Penta holding it out. It looked for a while like Mockit might be able to take it. I'm honestly a little bit disappointed that they couldn't. I think that their coordination and taking out that clash was abysmal, and I do think that losing the Zofia lifeline, the Guzmak version of that lifeline early on for free is sad.
Yeah, I have an extra bit of information that just sent to me. Mockit are boot camping next week in Frankfurt. So they are preparing for 6th Invitational. They are, however, not there yet. So they're playing from home. Just a bit of a tidbit.
KS and Rips trying to get their way up onto the north balcony, and they have done just that. Or ventilation, as it's often referred to as. Slow going here for Mockit overall. Just looking for picks at this point.
And this is the power of the mute. I mean, you mentioned in the past 2 games, you know, when nobody plays mute, like, well, droning is still an important part. If you can shut it down, it's going to be huge. And in this case, Penta are going to run something that Europe has, even in the past, done quite considerably, running both the mute and the bandit in tandem. And it's doing some pretty decent work. Rip's trying to burn away any utility set on the opposite end, and specifically stun Sirboss, who's going to have to waltz away. Rafan gets one on Corey. It's a pretty big kill on the high utility operator, the Capitao.
Some serious tools that Mockit are losing, but I mean, they brought the Capitao likely to counter the Clash. Clash isn't there, so at least there's that, you know, some kind of redemption, but it's still a heavy loss no matter what. Going on the site execution would have been nice to have those asphyxiating and smoke bolts, but no. Mockit now, after losing that player early on, are just going to slow down a little bit in the last minute of the round. This is not what they need to be doing. They couldn't get control of the top floor, and so they'll just try to push into the site. Sirboss could open up a rotation using that drop down, using the C4 specifically when the push actually comes. That's going to be on him to do just that. If he were to do it right now, he could potentially get some free kills, but he's going to have patience, and rightfully so, as all he needs is that, coming down to so little time for Mockit to execute an attack onto the site.
Yeah, and you, on top of that, you have to watch for so many extra angles. There's still players from Penta on the top floor. They have shotgun holes that are open up in the floor to fight you, and at least see one player moving into the customs, and that's the castle on the back. Enemy will take a lot of damage, but actually win the engagement against Rips. Once you're at 30 seconds and you're looking to execute because the Thermite just opened up the wall, that is huge. You can pick him up, sure, but that's going to give Penta so much breathing room. Enemy will get one on a Crying. Second one up top is KS, though. Will find the kill. Sirboss taken away, and KS is still on 50% health. Tap from KS again as he'll find the kill. The C's at 75 and Dokkaebi, but Blast, the peek from the bathroom. He'll get one kill, not the second though. Veil to go down and hungry. SMG 11 all the way. Penta shut down KS on the drop. They didn't really have much in the way of really information to go down, and that's the problem. If you don't clear the top floor, this is what's going to happen. You're not going to have a lot of flexibility by the end to execute.
Mockit didn't do anything in that round that Penta didn't let them do.
Yeah.
Mockit got a little bit control, but it was all control that Penta was just allowing their opponents to have. And they couldn't even get control of offices, which is just crazy. A curious situation for Mockit. Trying to clear into office, couldn't do that, so they tried to push in through tellers, and they got absolutely stomped. Why? Because if you're going to make a rotation like that, and you're going to try and brute force your way in, you need to do it quickly. I have to be honest. You have to do it, and you have to do it with some kind of surprise. There was no surprise. They set up in tellers for like a solid minute before they actually executed, and it allowed plenty of time for Penta to adjust. It was a really bad round for Mockit.
Yeah, that was basically just Penta. You know, when it's a birthday party and, you know, it's your birthday and such, and somebody just sneaks up and tells you a week before that it's gonna, you know, they're gonna organize something pretty cool for you. But in this case, it's just they knew what was going on. You're like, oh, I'm very surprised, but you were, you know, but what you were doing, they were ready for all of it.
I'm really, I am surprised, but what I'm surprised about is how Mockit has been playing. They definitely need to pick things up. I mean, we've seen some individual attempts at bringing a round back. Like, for example, that round strategically and in terms of team play, Mockit were a mess. But KS almost managed to salvage it by getting some kills individually. It wasn't enough, but he tried.
Yeah, Rips on the outside, though, in ventilation, trying to get the info. There is a player in the opposite end, and it's the Jaeger. In this case, Blast has support of Ravon, as well with reinforcement into the hallway. I'm not sure if there's a full reinforcement. There you go. So the hallway is fully reinforced. They have a side reinforcement as well, one of them from the break room, and also one behind them. You see, there you go. They'll get the spot on the Valkyrie camera, and it will get shot down. No peeks just yet, as PENTA just kind of realized, you know what, we don't even need to take the gunfights. Mockit so far have not been great at walking into us and winning them, so just gonna play advantage. 2 minutes. There's already one burnt off, and Mockit are just nowhere closer to where they started.
I hate seeing Mockit play like this. I mean, Gaston, the matches we've seen today have been pretty fast. I think we could agree. We've seen some nice action-packed gameplay.
True.
Mockit is not giving us that right now. Mockit is giving us wait patiently. They are going to open up a wall. It's going to be passport into customs, so there's that, at least some amount of control. I want to see some assertive plays from Mockit, something that makes me think to myself, hey, you know, they could maybe win this round, and I'm not seeing it. This is a good hole to open, but they still haven't gotten CCTV, which means that there's both horizontal and vertical denial on this entry from PENTA, and the gas canisters are going to start coming out as we hit the last minute.
Yeah, I wonder if this is Mockit in the mindset of measure twice, cut once, but
maybe.
It's definitely not showing. Blast will take a lot of damage, and the C4 will come out. Unfortunate for KS, will get pushed back and taken out. Hungry, low on HP as well. His enemy will rotate in from the bathroom, and guess what? He's going to catch one off guard. Blast with one, and Ravon for the second. 2v5 advantage, and somehow Sirboss is unable to get the kill on Vale, who goes in and actually puts the diffuser down. 3 kills here for Rips. Blast and Ravon, low on HP. Enemy will have to rotate in from the back as they'll have full control. That's one traded off. One more for Rips. That's his third, but Enemy clean him up. Great plays from Enemy, who's not really at the top so far in the squad in terms of the entire season, but definitely showing up in this game. Great coordination there from PENTA to rotate back.
Yeah, a good rotation indeed, and a nice retake.
Yeah.
It really comes down to Mockit losing so much manpower in the initial entry. They get the walls open up, but they're broadcasting their strategy, Gaston. They're saying, hey, guys, over here. They opened up 2 different holes in that passport wall. The one that they needed for default and one extra to cover. And I understand the mentality there. If you have control of east stairs, you can use the long angle to cover the rotation to allow for the plant. But they didn't get control of CCTV. They didn't get any picks onto the site. So when the actual site push came out from Mockit, it was an absolute slaughter. And
it was the same thing at the last 2 rounds.
And they got the plant down, but it didn't matter.
Inconsequential.
Yeah, because another thing is that's a good post-plant site, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
You get the default plant down, that's a decent post-plant.
But that wasn't a default one, because they were afraid
It wasn't
of the hatch.
default. Yes, that's fair. But okay, in that case, it was in a better position for playing outside. Because it was a more exposed angle. And it was on, I believe it was on top of the desk, was where it was.
No, actually, it was right next to the window. That vaults you into the
small office.
Desk. Yeah,
so it was next to the desk, which is next to the small office. But anyway, the plant was exposed very much to the door. We could have potentially seen a clutch out there, but Mockit's not landing those shots.
No, not winning gunfights.
Not working well together as a team, not clearing out anything before they attack the site at all for any of these rounds. Every single round, they have not attempted to clear out any of the roamers. They did clear office in the first round, but that's because they were attacking armory. That's the only reason why. And they, instead of going for an armory push, decided to go for an office push. And that's the necessary step to hit the site. In these other rounds, when they attacked vent, they tried to come in through tellers because they couldn't clear above. And then in this round, they tried to come in through passport because they couldn't clear above. They're giving up too easily.
What's the problem? They're not looking at the big picture.
No.
They're just focusing so much in tunnel visioning on, hey, we're going to attack this. Now Penta bring the Clash again. And they used it to very good effect.
One last thing before we move on.
Please.
I will say, how the way Mockit's been playing, it can work out for you. If you do it explosively and with confidence.
But they're slow.
And with the entirety of your team together as a unit. But yeah, they're slow, they're not working together, and they don't have a lot of confidence. It's obvious.
Candella's thrown in, and there's...
Why?
Just, that's it.
I think he was trying to cover for the exothermic charge plant, but no one's denying the bandit from below. Okay, KS is going to take out Sir Boss. So one of the players downstairs, the Jaeger, has been eliminated. Still, though, nobody is denying the bandit from below. You have a Zofia. What is he doing?
Corey already used up all his utility.
Take Chaos off that angle, put the Zofia down there, open up from below. I don't understand. The exothermic charge is going to go off anyway. Great. The Candelas, though, 2 of them have been used. A lot of the gas canisters have been used in response, and Hungry's going to die to Corey. Ravon will take out KS downstairs, outside. So Mockit are in a one-man lead right now, and there's one of the defenders that don't have a gun right this second. So this is potentially winnable for Mockit.
But how to deal with the Clash? Zofia already used her utility, and great play on the Capitao, no longer available, and time is running out. It's a great song, actually, from, I think it's called Industrial Funk or something, from Red
I'm not
Alert
sure.
2. Red Alert 2, it's a great game. It's a 19-year-old game at this point. But Ravon downstairs trying to shut things down as he's awaiting a potential aggressive play from Mockit to come in from the backstairs. It's the only thing that would make sense at this point. But Mockit will have to come in, and enemy's just going to take bullets. Nothing can be done to him, but Corey gets the kill on blast. This forces Ravon back up. He's got 2 impact grenades, but he goes down, and this is where things get problematic, and Mockit go in full power, defeating enemy, and I have to put it all there on the fact that the players that are using the Clash in front of him didn't really use her well.
Yeah, not only was the Clash not used well, but there were, I think overconfidence is the word I would use to describe Penta's play in that last round. Almost hubris. I mean, borderline. They had the smoke playing on Armory friggin' wall. I mean, why are you doing that? Have him tone it down a little bit. Dial it back. Just play safe, passive. Try and hold out the round. Deny for some time.
I like this Kickstarter ASMR. I can fall asleep.
But the point I'm trying to get at here is Penta lost themselves that round. I mean, we look back a little bit there. How is Mockit's utility? Absolutely abysmal. What was their positioning? Terrible.
Penta gave them that wall.
Penta gave them the wall. Nobody opened from below. There was no Zofia underneath denying the bandit tricking. The Candelas, they had to use 2 Candelas to deny bandit.
You know? Now we can dig into it since you mentioned it. Mockit banned the Jackal, right? So, or the Maverick, excuse me. The Stallions, one of the 2 Stallions. The Maverick gets taken out, and Mockit said, okay, that's going to be easy game for us, right? We don't have to deal with, people later on using it to destroy our bandit charges or mute charges or whatever that are set on the armory wall. But you're like, that's the difficult way of doing things. Like,
yeah, that's the
easy way is to bring in Asher or Zofia and play her from below.
It's kind of a wasted ban.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, Maverick on this map is a little bit of a wasted ban.
I can see it for an admin tick more than this. But if you still play Zofia correctly, you can just unlock a bandit very easily from the opposite side.
I mean, maybe. It's a waste of a ban.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of mindset. Mockit didn't just do it because lol. There's got to be a reason why they did it. But there are so many better options. I mean, jeez.
Very true.
Anyway, it is what it is. And they have been using Ying, so that's one of those options that they wouldn't have done. They wouldn't have used.
And they also haven't really used the Ying effectively, right? You look at the last round where...
They used it to deny a bandit trick.
When you have a Zofia right next to her.
Yeah. So
where the Zofia has like 3 different ways of shutting down the Mayor.
Okay, they're doing it again. It's an armory take again, but KS is the one downstairs. Corey is on the wall. There's one less reinforced panel though. So Penta have changed their strategy, which means the soft destruction not necessarily needed from below because nobody's bandit tricking anymore. So this isn't going to hurt Mockit nearly as much, but it's still worth noting the way that they're setting themselves up. Candela's still in play here because they weren't needed to deny the bandit tricking. I mean, they weren't needed in the last round, but they used them for that. And that's going to be huge when the actual site push comes.
What I like from Penta is that they let go of the Clash.
Yeah.
They realized that it's kind of putting them in a wrong mindset even.
Yes.
Not just the way that she functions. And
you need an extra player with a gun.
Yeah. And it makes a lot of sense to... Oh, no. Nobody clearing the ADSs, and Hungry will find a kill. Kiss to take down Sir Boss, but that's an inconsequential kill when you take down the Ying.
It looks like instead of bandit tricking, they're using impact tricks from the smoke, and they've already had one successful one. I think we just barely missed it, but yeah, an exothermic charge going down, as you can see, thanks to Hungary's impact grenades. He's going for another one right now, but he's going to be on the angle that is being watched by the attackers, and as you can see, he's a little bit scared of that. But it's all right. There's only 50 seconds left, and as the exothermic charge goes off, it has good control. Oh, actually, no! It looks like denied somehow. I don't think it was an impact trick this time around, but it was destroyed.
Attackers have located a bomb.
How?
Well, however it was destroyed. It could have been another impact, but we didn't catch it. Crying is going to take down enemy. Blaz will also eliminate Corey, so an even trade here. Penta are in a much better position, though, with KS on low HP. Ruban's also on low HP, but think about the positions that Penta are sitting in. As you can see, those operators are just waiting the timeout. Crying gets another one. He's absolutely on fire, and he's one of those players that you really have to shut down in this situation. Gas canister's going to B, but another one for Crying. He's going for more, and he gets it! What a round, and what a recovery from Crying! Oh my! Statistically the best player on Mockit, and he proves it again in this round. Very impressive. And, geez, I mean, a single man's effort.
Honestly, that was the most convincing round that Mockit has had so far. And it's all because of his aggressive plays.
He's about the 15th top player in Europe in terms of rating, and he is the highest rated player on his team. And I'm talking about Crying.
Yeah.
And he really does have some rounds where he shows up, and that was one of them.
And remember, he's the new guy, basically, on the team, as Baka Bryant took that fifth-man role.
Same thing in LATAM, actually, with Pino on Ninjas of Pajamas. Yeah, he is, I think he's like rank 2 right now on the leaderboards for LATAM. So he's just joined in and already having a good season.
Pino played like a few games with Pain back when the rules were a bit different in the first season in Latin America. I believe that was year 1, season 2, when Latin America played in PL. He played on Pain for a bit and then disappeared because he was way too young to play anyways, and the rules were finally applied. But the instant he turned 18, joined NIP, which is a pretty huge jump, actually.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he's demolishing everybody. The only person that is going anywhere near him really is Nesk.
I would put him in the same wheelhouse as Cantor Ikedi, because it's a similar story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cantor Ikedi, when Pro League was first a thing, he was too young to play, and he couldn't. He didn't play in Pro League. He had to wait a couple seasons. And
Year 2, season 1 came in.
Yeah, eventually once he gets to play, he absolutely dominates. He gets onto a good team, and he does very well for himself. Pino's in a similar situation, specifically in the LATAM region, but that's all elsewhere and other people. Right here in this match, Crying, what a round from him. And yeah, you said it was the most dominant round for Mockit, and their second one total. But they shouldn't have won it. Penta should not have allowed that to happen. That's definitely going to be on Penta's shoulders, and it's all thanks to Crying winning his fight, sure, but he was given the opportunity to do so.
One thing I want to mention, though, is that Penta aren't always the most effective on their attacks. So it's also something to keep in mind for later. Mockit tend to be more efficient on their defenses as well. So
yeah, the halfway might be...
It might keep things the way they are, but just switch sides. And this actually has a possibility to tie. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually do see that. I would be surprised that Penta would give it away, especially the fact that they're all together now in boot camp, and you know, when you play all together, it makes things a bit easier for you.
There's a strong possibility for a tie, though.
Yeah, definitely. But Claymore's going to get set up. It's a pretty interesting position. You can shoot it from the other side of the wall once you spot it, but there's definitely something that you're not always going to keep track in your mind here if you're Penta Sports. Corey and the rest of the squad at least have opened up the side wall, but remember, this is a ventilation defense, and Penta can just dive down the hatches whenever they wish to do so. You already see Hungry's smoke falling back and just trying to burn utility and time away from Mockit.
Those lifeline Gashmats again were absolutely useless from Corey. Accomplished pretty much nothing. other than information gathering. But it's a rush downstairs into the B bomb site, and it looks like the lifeline play upstairs was just a distraction. The plant going down, not able to deny it. Penta is going to have to go for a retake. They're going to get 2 off the back of Ravon, and Sir Boss will get 1 for himself, though. KS, the first kill for his team. Post-plant, yes, but kills are very much in the favor of Penta. Cryan, the last one alive, the hero of the last round. Can he do it again? Pistol out, he's trying to deny the disable, and he will see Sir Boss outside. He's going to have to win this fight. He'll take it home, but somebody's disabling all the while, and that's Enemy. He might not be able to make it in time, and he just barely gets eliminated by Hungary, allowing for the disable. So close with that pistol, but no cigar for Cryan. And Penta will take the final round of the first half.
How did that not register as a headshot in that position? Because he fired a couple shots into it. I'm like,
I don't think he hit the head. I don't think he did. I mean, it was close, but...
Yeah, it's so unfortunate there. Cryan having the game of his life so far, but all that matters are the points on the board. And look at that, Penta on 4-2 on their defense. And guess what? They might just be bringing the shield play, something we have not seen today, but was available on most of our games.
Yeah, Montaigne hasn't been banned yet today, and it's quite interesting.
It got banned on Clubhouse.
Oh no, you're right. It did. Yeah, it was Chaos.
But it wasn't consequential. Like, it didn't really do much. Didn't achieve much. But here,
I mean, it was Clubhouse. He's really powerful on Clubhouse. Yeah. So he was banned in the last match. Pardon me. Yeah, when we did see him left unbanned in the first match, Ents versus Secret, he didn't get played. So it was kind of curious. We saw Blitz being brought, but not a Monty.
Yes, we saw Wilkie bringing that in the very first game of the evening with Ents Secret. So, yeah, Cryan with 7 kills on the board. Rips and KS with 5 each as well.
So, your prediction is that Penta is going to struggle on attack when you compare it to their defenses, at least. And Mockit's going to be more comfortable on defense. I would say that makes sense. I think Border is one of those maps where the strategies are so well known and so default at this point that any team's able to attack it. But I say that, and Mockit skipped a lot of the simple steps in their attacking half, so maybe Penta will too. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, we look at Penta's run throughout the whole season so far. They've, except for one game, they've pretty much had full control on defense. You know, even playing Empire, they've got 4 rounds on defense. They get 4 or 5 rounds consistently on the defense, and then it's the attack where they start to struggle. And even in the interview last week with Jess, it also showed in her mind. Hungry will take down Vale. It's a pretty big kill on the Maestro. Wow, that's pretty huge for a freebie.
Yeah, not only is it freebie, but you were just talking about it. Attack is where you need to get these lucky breaks. That's a lucky break, and one of the best possible, getting rid of, I'd say, the most influential operator on the defensive lineup right now.
Yeah, it's a huge kill to take down Vale, and his Maestro still going to be over.
Another thing, the Evil Eyes are likely to be looking the wrong direction.
Actually, yeah, we're not sure.
Because it was so early in the round, he probably hasn't positioned his... Yeah, look, the Evil Eyes looking the wrong way.
Oh, no.
It's not going to be very useful for his team, unfortunately, for Mockit, and that's going to put the whole defense in a bad spot because no information being gathered by those bulletproof cameras.
That is a very good point. We often highlight it but never get to see it in front of us, and there you go. That is the time we'll get to do so. Cryan should have detected the buck in this case here.
I think it was too far away.
I saw a dot, but I don't know if he
might not see it. It's important to know that the heartbeat detector has different... We see it differently than he sees it sometimes.
Yeah. I was going to run back and at least have support. This is the thing. You know, both operators are running together. Ravon taking a ton of damage here from the smoke, but it'll burn him away. Blast will find one on Rips. Can't get the second just yet as Cryan is trying to peek around him. He goes in for the reload, but Cryan is still alive. And not sure if he has a Nitro Cell in hand, but that's going to be very important for this take. Still has it. There you go. Take down anybody that moves in from Penta. Ravon has already been dropped. Corey close to dropping Hungry in the back, but Ravon's going to get picked up. There's a lot of time on the clock for Penta to play around with it. Corey will put himself in the half wall, unfortunately a bit too confident in his position, and Cryan, even if he gets a kill with a Nitro Cell, might not be enough, and they should know that it's the Pulse because they did scout it out and lose to it before. They'll get shot from the side as the Ash comes in, and Hungry from above will get the finisher for even putting that diffuser on the floor. Well done. Penta Sports here. And it all came down to Hungry getting the early pick of the Maestro, and then suddenly all the information, the Jaeger there, he had to peek wide because he had no clue who was playing on the other side of it.
Cryan has been playing pretty well. overall, I have to say, he's been having a good match, but it's not good enough. And it does right now feel like Mockit versus Cryan, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, he won that last round. I just said Mockit versus Cryan, Gaston. Penta versus Cryan.
It's also a metaphor, something to use. Mockit versus Cryan.
Well, actually, if we're going to look at it that way, it does feel almost like he's fighting his team to win these rounds, because the rest of his team are not having a good match right now. It does happen from time to time, but I don't know. Mockit not really in this mentally, and it shows. They're gonna go back to Armory for their second defense. I almost thought that Cryan was gonna clutch that out. If he had downed and killed the Ashe and then managed to get away from the Zofia without being scathed, he might have been able to get a C4 from below and play it for the win.
I believe he had already used the Nitro before the Ashe moved up, or
he threw the Nitro, but he didn't detonate.
He didn't detonate it because he heard the Ashe coming in from the back and had to fight her. Okay.
Yeah. So if that hadn't happened, but it. And we're 1 round away from match point right now for Penta. The last round was pretty dominant. Obviously, getting the pick on the Maestro early on, that's a big part.
Huge.
Yeah, and following that, it was just kill after kill for Penta. I think, some of the positions that Mockit were playing were ill-advised, to say the least. I mean, I'm not sure what Corey was thinking, for example, when he was trying to go back to half wall. I have no idea what his thought process was.
You already know that they're all outside. Even if you didn't have information with an Evil Eye, you just don't peek that.
It's dangerous, man. And you're in a 2 versus 5, 2 versus 4, something like that. So
you have the pulse from below that can give you information. Just play behind the bomb.
Yeah.
You're good.
Well, it happened. We'll see if Mockit can correct it now. Again, going to the same site, so they've got another try here. Potentially 2 more tries. Potentially more, but I mean, on this site, it's 2 more tries. If they don't win here and they keep going here, then But Penta are gonna have to get some picks here, and they're actually gonna give one away to Cryan. Speak of the devil, and he shall frag out. He's been having a really good match, and he's gonna keep that trend going. Yeah, there you go.
That's an ecclesiastic quote, by the way.
Thank you.
Well, Hungry. Looking in on the Zofia, there's nobody on the other side by the small desk in Armory. Ravon as well has an extra angle to use. Gonna try to push Mockit away, and they don't even have to worry about any bandit batteries or any enemy jammers or whatever. Why? Because, well, Mockit really want to run Cryan below, but I see a big hole in this defense. The fact that there's only 1 C4 and the Pulse is the one controlling it. When you're relying so much on this, you don't have any bandit, any mute, no nothing.
Valkyrie.
You're wasting, you would love to have more equipment here to play off of.
They have the Evil Eye, but it's just been destroyed by the Lifeline, and that's definitely going to be a huge loss when the actual push comes in. Vale now has lost his control over this Armory push. Serbas is looking to hunt down Cryan. They know how important that Pulse is. They're going to find him in small office. Here's the vault. Tries to cut off rotation. He's missing a lot of shots, losing this control. Serbas needs to land these. Cryan's able to rotate into the hallway. He's just delaying. And there's still 50 seconds left, but the more this Pulse delays, the better for Mockit. A nice shot there from Serbas onto Rips, but the Pulse is still downstairs, still waiting to hold on. He's in a decent position, but he's going to be spotted out, and that's 2 for Serbas. Penta put themselves up 1 man. All the while, the site take still yet to come. 30 seconds left. Ravon laying down the smokes, trying to enable the ingress. Corey will go for the rotation, but this time he's covered by the attacker's smokes and his own gas canisters. It's a trade elsewhere between KS and enemy, 1-to-1 and on each other. Serbas, though, gets his 3rd, coming into sight onto Vale. He's going for a 4th, but he misses it! Corey, what a clutch! Backed into a corner, and he gets all the frags. Mockit take the round, and it should have been Penta's.
No information at all from Penta in that position. 2 people just kind of run into him, not expecting him in that position. In the previous round, he got killed the instant he picked around to the half wall, right? This time he's just allowed to stay there. And you can see the problems Penta on the attack. Sometimes they'll forget to use their drones effectively. And this is what I was mentioning before when we were still on the defense, is that Penta getting 4 rounds on the defense, that's not an abnormality. They've done it against pretty much every single team except for Lust team because they lost 7-1 against them. But outside of this team, they've always been able to put up these sorts of numbers. Just the attack they struggle on.
Yeah. I believe that was also 4K for Corey, if I'm not mistaken. He got one when he was rotating to half wall. He got the 3 at the end there.
Yep.
I mean, you know, I agree with you. It's the lack of information gathering on Penta's side. And, I mean, half wall, come on, man.
That's like the
You check that
position.
You check that before everything else. I mean, they must have checked it earlier. Corey did rotate into it using the smokes. But that's the crazy thing. That's the really crazy thing to me, Gaston, is that when Corey rotated to half wall, he got a kill in that transition. They knew he was there.
Bomb located
And yet-
by attackers.
decided to waltz on it.
I know. Yeah, it's curious, truly.
5 seconds
Well,
remaining.
mistakes on both ends of this match.
Attackers recovered
Mockit
the
side on Penta side.
Attackers' objective is to
And that's
defuse
made
the
it
bomb.
a very interesting match, to say the least. So, here we go. Mockit going to be going to ventilation now after winning Armory. That was their first win on Armory, their second attempt total. And it came off of a clutch. It should have been a Penta round. We should be on match point right now, looking to go to a 7-2, 7-3 situation. And we could still have that. But that last round, yeah, it really should not have gone Mockit's way. Roman side of office here for Mockit. It's clearly been droned out. As you can see, Sir Boss is trying to stack up with his teammate to get this kill. And ooh, there you go. Clean shot from Sir Boss. Rems goes down. Bandit gone, leaving just the Jaeger in this sandwich position. Blaz is going to get one onto Cryan too, who peeks the same exact angle that Rips just peeked. But Corey going to peek himself, and he'll get the kill. A second for Corey, hot off his clutch, and he's looking to get even more impact in this game, as he puts himself on low HP, but he takes away 2 from Penta in exchange for his own 2 teammates.
Yeah, I think Corey got a bit jealous there, crying. It's like, you know what? I can also frag. And
Yeah.
it definitely did show in them.
He's still there.
Yep.
And it doesn't look like Hungary is aware of it, actually. He thinks he's to the right. This could be another kill for
Oh,
Corey
no.
quite easily, but no, the pre-fire from Hungary. And Penta will down Corey, though it doesn't seem they know. And he might be picked up.
There we go. The drone should give him information.
Hey.
Oh,
It's all right, he did it. It's done. It's done, Gaston. It's all right.
okay.
He got it.
All right.
But okay, Penta put themselves in a man advantage, despite Corey's heroics.
Yep. Hungary just waltzed on in. There's nobody in here to try and fight him, and it makes a lot of sense. Mockit fell back on the site. They have time advantage and castle barricades aplenty. So they're just going to try to play whatever they can downstairs. Vale will take down the drone, but there's also one being set on the metal stairs. Give him info, enemy, drop on down. Again, Penta Sports with 3 players versus the 2 left here from Mockit. That castle barricade is going to prove complicated for Ravon to deal with, because they know there's a player in the back. He's going to use the asphyxiating bolt, but you know that the player's in the shower, not by the doorway. Still, Hungry waiting for information on the timing. Penta maneuver around closer and closer. The ITA being used. 15 seconds on the clock.
Seconds to go.
They'll have to descend. One gets shot down by KS. Hungry taken out. The former teammates battling it out. Vale will get one more, leaving it all up to Ravon, who gets shot from the side. Vale with a 2K in the MPX. And wonderfully done by Mockit to realize, hey, you know what? We got time and utility on our side. Let's just use them. Let's just stick back and wait until they push into us, because we'll have every single audio cue.
And on the other hand, what was Penta thinking? Enter in through 3 different lanes? Why? Why? Why'd you let it come down to the dying seconds of the round, and why are we all pushing from somewhere else? Curious decision-making there from Penta. They had the manpower advantage. They could have pushed together as a cohesive unit, but they decided to fracture their lines and allow the advantage to swing the way of Mockit. In a 3 versus 2, the defenders, if being attacked from multiple different lanes and are able to cover those lanes, they have the advantage despite having the manpower disadvantage. Why? Because they just need to wait, which is huge.
Yep.
And Penta needs to do something to mitigate that advantage. They
Attackers need to
didn't.
locate and defuse bombs.
And it's unfortunate to see. Well, Mockit are fighting back, going for
have located a
still
bomb.
potentially a win, but getting within punching distance here of Penta. only 1 round behind now. They'll be going to Tellers, though, so this should be a round. And that will go the way of Penta. Keyword should, though. What should happen does not always happen.
And yeah, okay, we're back. There you go.
That was weird.
All good.
10 seconds remaining.
So, Mockit getting close to tying things up. Now, I said Penta struggle a bit on their attack, but those last 2 rounds is just kind of giving them away to Mockit, which is why at the beginning, as those defensive rounds were going for Penta, I just said I still would see this going to a tie. This is definitely a possibility. And Sir Boz here, there, bit of a desync, but we're fine. So Teller's bathroom again. Castle barricade is being used up.
That's weird.
Desync. That's desync, by the way. That's not
straight up desync. So this shouldn't be affecting the players. Just a heads up. It looks like it's just a spectator desync, so our client is desynced from the rest of theirs. It happens, but just please note that it should not be affecting the players.
Yeah.
Or the results of the match.
We would have seen it in chat if
they would be talking about
players. But
so we're good. We're good at least for the these players.
The people that really matter at the end of it is the guys that are playing for all the marbles. Blast gonna use his lifeline. There you go. Incorrect one first, and then he'll use another one. Caught by an ADS, I believe. They're the other side.
I think they did get the battery they wanted to get though. So job done. And the wall open. And they'll have an avenue now to attack into offense.
The sliding in the back. Bailey Jean. This is the second time this week.
Rips is impressing everybody.
This is best moonwalk.
What a show off.
Yeah.
Very impressive though, I have to say. Justified.
It's a good album.
Yeah. So he's trying to challenge from the office corner. He's doing a good job of that, as he's held on to it so far. Penta, remember we were talking about how Mockit had very timid, slow attacks?
Yeah.
Yeah, Penta are doing the same thing now.
Which is very odd. I mean, they've been able to go through the checklist fairly effectively, and they've been getting early game picks. And Blast will find one, taking down Corey. Diegert, he's taken out.
He did a little bit of a slide himself there as he was transitioning to the east stairs.
Okay, well, Karin will come out and yet again net a kill, and Blast will at least find this one. Can he finish off the castle? You've seen the amount of work that Karin's been able to do for Mockit. Seems to be nobody around to protect him. As he's still down on the floor, we'll try to evade. And what's the big deal here with playing Bathroom and Tellers is that if you don't have top floor control, it's going to be very difficult for you to do anything. Still more sliding in the back as Vale will find one to equalize the numbers between both teams. 20 seconds on the clock though, and you don't have top floor control. Damn, that's going to be complicated. And Penta will have to rush in from the window as Hungary will find one on KS. 3v2 advantage still, but the shotgun from above. Rips will find one Hungary to turn around, and Ravon will finish off Vale as they dive in and go for the gunfights. Penta realizing that, hey, you know what? Darn it. Let's just go directly in the window and try to fight from there. Nobody was able to connect because of the smoke that was put up as cover. I think because the attack was so late in the round, the Bandit was looking away. And he wasn't really focused on it because they're like, are they actually going to push us or not?
Yeah, I mean, the patience there from Penta, the slow attack strategy somehow worked out. If I were to say why, it's probably because they were attacking onto Tellers. Tellers being such a shallow site. It's not that it's a bad site. It's a very shallow site, which means that you don't necessarily have to throw yourself into the building to get that control. I will say, though, if you want to win the round reliably, you should get control of offices, and that's something that Penta failed to do, actually, until the very last second of the round, when they managed to get that final kill on the Bandit above. So, I mean, well, it wasn't the final kill. It was right next to the final kill, but it was one of the last two. And yeah, okay. Penta left it to the end of the round. They took a long time to get there, but they did eventually check all the boxes and, go through the process of attacking.
Yeah, it just wasn't done in time.
It wasn't done very efficiently. It was done a lot slower than what we're used to seeing from Penta. That might just be because they were worried about potentially overstepping again because that site is so darn shallow and that you can access it from right outside. That's probably why. They just didn't want to get ahead of themselves. And I actually admire PENTA in a way for that, but yeah, it's just, I was worried for a second. I was very worried that they were going to slow down and Mockit was going to get the ground that they needed to bring this back. And that made sense. That would make sense considering Mockit won 2 rounds in a row on Armory and Vent. Now here's the big thing. Mockit gets to go to Armory and Vent for the next 2 rounds. If they win them, they'll go to a draw. They have to win both. Can't lose a single one as we're on match point. PENTA will take it if they win any of these next 2. But comfort picks in terms of sights for Mockit, and that's worth something.
All right, Blast will use the standard entry for a buck. Basically, just can get directly into jail, as it's not reinforced in this case, and why would it be, right? There's nobody from Mockit playing down below. Corey taking a bit of damage early on, not too sure to why. There's some loose fire here and there, but PENTA are looking to lock things out. They'll have 2 rounds here to potentially do so and secure themselves the 3 points. It's definitely something that they're looking for to stay in contention as we get, basically we're just wrapping up this first half of the season.
Yeah, this is the second to last match. Last play day, second to last match of the season. We still have Lestream versus G2 up after this one. Pretty close to considering the round count right now. Only these next 2 potentially rounds. Can't have any more than that in this match. Hungry going to cover the exothermic plant there from enemy, and it will go off. No denial in the hands of Mockit. Great job of taking out the batteries from below, Mr. Boss. Something that Mockit did not do, which was weird. But PENTA will.
Yeah, and this is what we talked about. It's like the Maverick ban just makes no sense when you have the Buck, the Ash, the Zofia, all 3 that can do this work.
It's not just that wall either. I mean, it's pretty much anywhere you're going to want to bandage.
Sure.
Getting underneath these places is not hard. Getting above is the same thing if we're talking about a different site. And you don't want to bandit trick anything on the middle floor, or the bottom floor rather. So it's weird. Anyway, coming down to the last minute here. PENTA are in a good position. They have the wall they need. They have the utility. 3 Candelas in hand. They're just waiting to push. That's great. They just baited out a gas canister without actually doing anything. It's probably because we come down to the last minute and KS is just trying to think mathematically he can pace it through this last minute, but still good for PENTA that they didn't need to do anything for that to happen.
Yeah, it does have a hole on the side of the wall. Corey will find a kill on enemy. This is pretty darn huge. The Thermite had already done the work, but your flank watch is now taken away. This might allow Corey to, even later on in the round as the diffuser gets set, to rotate around. KS looking by the window. There's nobody coming in from the main entrance. Sir Boss will go off the flank watch for just a second, and Corey will find the angle. He'll get 1, he'll get 2. That's 3 now for Corey in the round. Shotgun in hand, but KS will run into Hungry. Diffuser should get set here if Revon can actually set himself up for it. Rips, though, try to find the kill and contest, but there's so many goo mines that are slowing down the attackers. He tries to set it from behind, and Hungry will find the kill. Ripsto will deny it. There you go. The Bandit shut down the one person that could have saved this whole round. And unfortunately there for PENTA, their assault will not go as planned. 6-5. And again, talked about a potential tie. We're staring down the barrel.
Ah, man, I thought today was going to be like, okay, so it started off with critiquing Mockit, and now it's both. I mean, both teams are making so many mistakes. That last round, how the heckin' did PENTA lose control of CCTV break room? 2 questions also, aside from that. That question plus how did Corey get in there? Was he playing in break room the whole time and nobody droned it out, or did he come in through the hallway and then go into break room? It looked like he was playing in it the whole time.
He played in it the whole time.
Which means nobody droned out Corey in break room. So that is called being lazy.
I'm sure he rotated in after the first minute because the door was already opened up.
Maybe, but all I know is there was no rotation hole from the hallway. So either nobody was watching that rotation, or he was just sitting there and nobody droned him. But
either way, it's just
lazy.
Extremely.
That's laziness on PENTA's side, and that allowed for 3 kills from Corey in CCTV. You know, I gotta be honest, if Sir Boss had just stayed on the angle, like we saw him come away from the angle where he was about to get the kill. If he had just stayed on the angle and everyone else focused on taking the site, that Corey nuisance, even after he got the first kill, it probably wouldn't have been a huge deal. And it shouldn't have happened in the first place, but that would have been how you recover that situation, right? But they didn't do that. Sirboss came off the angle, and then after Corey got another kill, Sirboss tried to challenge again and lost and gave away another. And that took away all of the muscle that Penta needed to attack the site. Hungary did so much work, by the way, to try and recover that. He came very close.
But again, it's the same thing that we said about Mockit when they were on the attack. You can't always rely on a one-man show.
Yeah, and Hungary is, I believe, rated as the best player currently on Penta going into today. And yes,
I think Revan is pretty close as well.
Right behind him, actually.
Yeah.
Revan is just one under, but Hungary, going into this match today, was statistically the best player on Penta. And yeah, I mean, it makes sense why he was pulling that weight, but again, he shouldn't have needed to pull so much. Really. I'm surprised by how that played out for Penta.
All right, German charge will open up the side of the armory wall at the 2-minute mark. As Mockit prepare their defenses and barrel down the hatches. Oh no, he gets to open and Blas will find an easy kill on Corey. The timing, unfortunate. And Mockit lose one of their best players and fraggers here, pretty much for free.
Unfortunate indeed, and yeah, that's probably going to. Well, that could be the catalyst that launches us into a 7-5. This is going to be the first match we'll have today, but we'll go all the way for sure. But that is exactly what Penta needed, and I'm sure Corey is really kicking himself and hoping and praying that his team can win this without him.
All right, we'll see how this goes. So far, Penta taking their time, droning around and setting up late round flank drones, as they still have not cleared out the top floor completely. You see in Fountain, there's 2 players in there, crying and Rips in the archives, just giving one another control over the couple angles that you have on this attacking position. Revan moving in, nobody on the other side here of the stock room, but he will give himself a great angle to use, and this is to basically smoke off the one rotation the defenders are going to have in the back. Candela's going to get thrown into the server. Blast will find another kill. Sirboss with one on a Cryan. 2v5 advantage for Penta, as the Candelas will come in and blind everybody. More of the utility being thrown in front of the Capital. Blast will find 1 kill, but traded off by KS. So much work being done by Blast, one of the 2 Hungarian players on the squad. His enemy from above, holding the rotation, will take down KS. And unfortunately for Mockit, all of their trials will go for naught, as final scoreline is 7-5, the way of Penta Sports.
I mean, it was a nice try from Mockit, that's for sure. And they came really close.
That first kill, so unfortunate.
I mean, the story of this match overall, though, was just mistakes after mistakes after mistakes for both teams. It was a really sloppy match, and it happens. It does. But it's curious to see when it's on, it bounces back from both sides, right? I think for a good portion of that match, we had Mockit struggling to put anything together. Specifically, of course, that's the beginning when Penta put 3 rounds in a row.
Yep.
I think a lot of us at that point were already counting out Mockit.
It's done.
Yeah, it's done. So I'm very impressed that Mockit managed to bring it to the 7-5. But, I mean, I don't know. Mockit just made more mistakes than Penta. And it was a really weird match.
And trust me, both were making a ton of mistakes. After those first 3 rounds that you mentioned, Penta just kind of flipped and flopped here and there.
And it forced individual players to step up and perform, like Cryan, like Corey, for example, like Hungary. I mean, and it's great to see when that happens. But there's some, when you're skipping over the basics and forcing it to happen, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, and it's very noticeable from our side as well, as we see this and we're like, if it's coming down to gunfights, in the way that it is, there's something within the checklist not going right.
You know what? One thing that's really interesting about that match also, from both teams in general, we saw a lot of misplaced patience and a lot of, lack thereof in the when it needs to be there. I mean, it was like, I don't know, I'm struggling with a way to say it, but they just never had the patience that was necessary, and by they I mean everyone, when it was necessary, but when it's not, when you should be taking action and doing something, they're just lingering.
I think the correct word is pacing.
Yeah, their pacing was abysmal. The pacing for both teams was pretty abysmal on attack.
So we'll take a look at things and how Penta were able to finally ground the game out as we go for interview. Penta Sports. Here we go. Blas on camera. What's up, Blas? How are you? You hear me?
Hello. This is probably the first phone camera interview, I don't know, but As you can see, I have to hold the camera, so.
Trust me, I dealt with Jess last week, and I can see her in the back. Again, you guys, to reaffirm for everybody at home, you're at ELZ Penta in Berlin, if I'm not mistaken. So you're getting ready for 6th Invitational. It's one of your days of the 10 days of boot camp there, right? So.
Yes, enemy is not here yet. Technically, it's just 4 of us and Jess.
All right.
Enemy is still.
Fair enough. Well, couple things about the game, though. Big problem, the attack. It's always a problem with you guys when it comes to the attack. Yeah. Why so? Because from our end, we're looking at it, and it's either stalling out, not pacing yourself correctly, or lack of drones in correct positions, or at all.
Yeah, definitely. I think this season is, almost every season, it's easier to defend because you know your positions and you know what your teammates have to do. But on attack, you have to adapt to a lot of things. You have to adapt to your teammates, and you have to be definitely more coordinated than on defense. And I think this season is definitely like gunfight oriented. So like you have to take a lot of gunfights. You have to take all the peaks, especially on defense. And we lost a couple rounds because, especially I think Corey and Crying, they got a lot of aggressive peaks, and we just didn't have any counter for that at the moment. But I'm pretty happy that we pulled it together at the end, and we finished 7-5. And they played really well. I'm really happy for Mockit because they are my friends, and they're playing pretty well. They're stepping up their game from the first half of the season.
Yeah, it got close to a tie. When I saw you guys put up the 4 rounds on defense, I'm like, this is a repeat of what usually happens with Penta. Is this going to turn into a tie at the end of the day? And I really was considering it, and it got very, very close. But you shined quite a bit in this matchup. You know, you mentioned Corey and Cryant from Penta's side, but you were getting picks left and right as well. Were those of your own volition, or did you have somebody also giving you information off of them? Because I saw a lot of pre-fire from the ventilation into the office hallway, and it's a standard thing for a lot of people, but I don't know how it was set up for you.
At the beginning, it was I was learning how they played. And the first couple rounds, we just follow the IGL, and we look how they play. And the last couple rounds, I tried to play more flex because that's my role. And I tried to predict the movements and the way they're gonna rotate back to side. And this way, I got like 3 kills the last round. And also when we attacked terrors and archives, I got like 2 kills and almost got 3 kills. And that was my own decision as well because I droned and I was pretty sure they're gonna like rotate in front of me. So I cut them off.
No.
And like there was no time to call that because I didn't want to like mess up the comp, so I just did it on my own.
Fair.
But like every player has these decisions, and I think this is why we started working out like better like the second half of the first season, because now we actually play the game. Like we actually play the game instead of just waiting for the calls and everything.
Fair enough. This is just adapting in the middle of the round, which is definitely what you need to stay on top, as many teams have shown it in the past and will continue to do so in the future. Overall, weaknesses that were found, very glaring to see, but how are you going to fix them? Because you guys are now boot camping. You know, you have your coach with you and everything. You're going to 6th Invitational. You qualified after winning DreamHack Winter, or, you know, the semifinal. Yeah. Excellent game, actually, versus Space Station. You weren't there. Panix was in that position beforehand. You know, you're going in. How is the prep looking like for Invite? And how are you thinking about the matchups as you're going to have in the group stage?
I think, especially after today's game, I think the team is going to be in a really good mood for the match. And enemy is coming here soon. So we're going to have like a really chill and I think a really good mood, like a really good week together to prep for the Invitational. And of course, we're looking at the enemies. We're looking forward to play the best Japanese team in the world, and yeah, we're definitely looking for it.
Any team that really scares you, though, because you're playing in Group D, you got EG, Norarengo, and Le Stream. So an EU team, the best NA team, and the best APAC team. And we saw that Norarengo are definitely not a team that you can underestimate. Any team that really stands out for you, because people are calling this the group of death, right?
Yeah, they definitely do that for a reason. I kind of agree, like we have the hardest group, but for me, like for personally, I'm not afraid of anybody from our group. I'm more afraid of the Brazilian teams. For example, if we get them later, if we get out of groups, then it's going to be hard if we get a Brazilian team. I kind of feel like that. I don't know about my teammates. I don't think we fear anybody in the group.
Fair enough. Well, Blast, thank you very much. Anything you'd like to say to the fans of Penta as you make your way to Montreal for the 6th Invitational?
Thank you so much for supporting us, especially the Hungarian supporters. That's because of Sebas and me. We really appreciate you guys stepping up. Köszönjük szépen a támogatást. And that's it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. We dealt with it fine. Just fine. It was really good. But, Blast, thank you very much again. Congratulations on your victory. Hard-fought 7-5 against Mockit on Border. We'll see you in just a couple of weeks in Canada. Good night.